when you see think statement, all they're asking you to do is to rewrite the division as how many of what is in what. So for this particular example, how do you want to write your think statement? Ryan, go ahead. Very good. How many 4/9 are in 8/9? Okay. Make your number line. The first line is always 0. Each line now is going to represent what fraction? Charlie? A ninth. Which I think I told you, maybe, tell me if I told you this yesterday. After you make your 1/9, if you want, you don't have to put the denominator for the remaining digits. Did I tell you that yesterday?
Yes.
Since every fraction is in ninths, if you want to save yourself a little bit of time, all I really care about is the numerators. Because this is really 2/9, this is 3/9 and 4/9. Instead of having to write everything over 9, I'm just going to do the numerator. Okay, next important question. Where do you need to go to on this number line? Krista? I have to go to 8/9. I'm going to make a line here. I want you to do that if you haven't done it yet. This is my go-to fraction. I call this my 8/9. That's my go-to fraction. And now I'm going to leap by how much? Liam? I'm going to leap by 4/9. This is my leap fraction. So starting at 0, I leap in 4/9 leaps. I leap by 4s. That's one leap. Not 1/9 of a leap, one leap. Where's my second leap land me? Right where I need to go. It's 2 complete leaps, and that's our answer. Okay? Now, we didn't cover number 2, but I might as well do it now because it's really our next example anyway. See how you have different denominators? You can't use a number line if you've got denominators that are unlike. So what we need to do is change to a common denominator, and I have to make an equivalent fraction in that common denominator. So 5 and 3, like what can we do here? Kirsten. Okay, I'm going to make my common denominator 15, so I know that so much. I know that so far. So now, think about like what you did back in the ratios unit. Remember we made equivalent ratios? It's the same thing with equivalent fractions. 3/5 is the same or equivalent to how many 15ths? Come on, I really want to see more hands. Antonio.
It's equal to 9.
How did you do it?
I did 3 times 3 to get 9, and I did 5 times 3 to get 15.
Correct. To get from 5 to 15, you have to multiply by 3. So you do the same thing with the numerator, and you get 9. What about 1/3? Smiley.
So I did
Exactly. Okay, see what I did there? So now I have 2 equivalent fractions that are in the same common denominator of 15ths. Now I'm going to make my think statement. How many what are in what? Anthony. Great. Where do I have to go to? Krista. What do I have to leap by? now I go to my number line and I start my numbering process. What's my first line as a fraction? Steven, what's my first line as a fraction?
14.
Very good. What about this one? Just say it out loud with me. Now watch, I'm going to leave off the denominator just because I know it's in 15ths. Out of my whole entire number line now, where do I have to go to? Charlie, I've got to go to 9. I'm going to make my line there, okay? So I can see it. And now I've got to leap by how much? And here's my first leap. Now, I'm going to have to do a partial leap right now because, look, I got to go to 9/15. But I can't just stop at 9/15. Otherwise, I'm not leaping by 5. I got to leap all the way to 10. It's going to overshoot my destination. This is what's called a partial leap. It's not a complete leap. I have one complete leap. So now I know it's going to be 1 and something, but not a complete 2. And this is the hardest part for kids to understand. I'll get an answer first and then I'll work backwards as to why it is what it is. Who got it right? I know you got it right, Ryan. So what was the final answer? 1 and what?
1 and 4/5.
1 and 4/5. And let me explain why. If you look at this partial leap, in order to get from 5 to 10, how many total lines are there between here and here? Count them. How many lines do you see between 5 and 10?
5.
Yeah, here's a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This technically becomes the denominator of that fraction. Ready? Ready? How many lines are there between this same 5 and my destination point? Kaylee. Right, there's 4. I'll do it in a different color. Since this is where I've got to go to, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That becomes your numerator, so it's 1 and 4/5. It's 4/5 along the way between 5 and 10, because this is where I've got to go to. Does that make sense? Mikey, how is it for you now, okay? Perfect opportunity to try it now with example number 2. So let's try it again. Go to, in your booklet, I don't know, can somebody tell me where example 2 is? What page is it? All right, go to page 7. Let's practice it again. That one, right? Okay, so we've got 3/4 and 2/3. What do you want your common denominator to be? First of all, the think statement is, as of right now, before we switch it, how many what are in what? I don't think I have any. Can anybody have a pencil that they can lend out? Haley, do you have one?
Yeah.
Can you give it to Bridget? So as of right now, how do we want to write our think statement? Before we make our common denominator, what should it be? I want to hear from some others. Raise your hand if you know it. Yeah, Aiden.
4.
No. How many what are in what? We have to rewrite our think statement.
How many 3/4 and 2/3? Oh no, how many 2/3 and 3/4?
Right, it gets kind of reversed, so just remember that. We need to make a common denominator. What should the common denominator be in this case? Alex. Yeah, 12 will work. All right, let's make it. 3/4 is how many 12ths? Go ahead, Jack. No. What do I have to multiply to get this to 12?
Oh, wait.
Let me walk you through it. I got to make this a 12, bud. So 4 times what makes 12? Okay, you got it. And you were able to reason through it. 9/12. What about 2/3? Steven, what do you got? What do you got?
3/12.
Sounds good. Constant of 4 in that case. So now we rewrite it as how many 8/12 are in 9/12? You want to try to do the rest on your own, or do you need my help? Now let's make the fractions on the number line first, and then I'll see how far you can get. First fraction on the line will be what? Stevie?
0,
And then
1,
1 out of 1 what?
1/12.
Okay, I still want you to make that first fraction, and then you can count by numerators only. That's fine. Number all of the lines because you don't know how many you're going to need yet. Where do you have to go to? Where do you have to go to? Smiley, you got to go to 9/12, right? So make your line at 9/12 so you can see it. And Bella, what do you got to leap by? Correct. All right, my first leap lands me where? Kelly. That's right. Got to do a full second leap in order to figure out what the fractional leap is. So my second leap, even though it's a partial leap, lands me where? Krista. At 16. I'm going to do it as a dotted line. So now we know it's 1 and something. Does anybody know what that fractional leap is? If you get it right, then I know you know it. Liam, what'd you get?
1/18.
What'd you get? What'd you get? What'd you get?
1/18.
What'd you get? What'd you get?
1/18.
Any others? What'd you get?
1/18.
What'd you get?
1/18.
Okay, let's see. How many lines are there between 8 and 16? Count them. How many lines are there?
8.
There's 8. I now know that it's going to be 1 and something eighths. How many lines between this, where is my first leap, and where I have to go? 1 and 1/8 is my answer.
Oh my goodness.
Okay? That just recall, we just have to practice that. Those fractional leaps are really key for your success when we do our next quiz, which should probably be the end of next week. Okay? All right, here's how we're going to break up. Regular math group or unsalted. Your exercises are 1 through 5, and it starts on page 8, and it goes to page 10. Now, when you get onto page 10, there's 2 questions there that are a little bit of a challenge, but my regular math, I want you to still try it. And then there's going to be a little bit of overlap. My advanced, I want you guys to actually start on page 10 and then do 10 through 13. Okay? You all right? Well, 10 through 13, 11 starts the advanced group. Okay? 10 is the overlap. Okay, So go in your groups and go.